This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be hearing music from Fastball's Step Into Light.
And Pure Comedy by Father John Misty.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And my name is TJR. I'm a musician and music writer.
Now we're going to kick off this show with a little musical quiz.
Yes.
We're going to play a little bit of a song, and you tell me if you remember this.
Okay, let's see how I do.
Okay, everybody, I think you remember that song, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But it's been a while.
It has been a while, and
yeah.
That's actually this band, this trio out of Austin, Texas. They're called Fastball.
Yes.
And believe it or not, Fastball is back with a new album called Step Into Light. This is the band's first new album since 2009.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it's the same original band. They're actually best known for their 90s hits, Like the Way. Yeah. But this is a great band, and Step Into Light is a great album. They sent me this, put it in the CD player. The songs just exploded, and it's actually the band here is going in even more directions than they used to go back with their previous work, which was more known for being kind of a power pop or kind of like an indie rock kind of sound. Here they kind of there's some power pop, but there's also some Americana. There's some continental kind of European kind of I don't know, you'd call it almost like a throwback to maybe the early 1900s kind of like sounds, kind of like what the Beatles might have done with Your Mother Should Know, something like that.
Okay.
And but why don't we play a little bit of one of the songs, and then we'll maybe talk a little bit about more about
I already have some questions.
Yeah.
I'll hold them until we play this. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very, very good. So let's listen to a little bit of this song, and it's called Just Another Dream, and let's hear a little bit of that one.
I thought that I was a shining star. I thought that I was a newborn king. I thought I could make the world explode. I thought I could make the oceans freeze. I knew that I wasn't thinking right, and now I know how I got it wrong. I take it all back, but they tell me that you can't go back in time.
And that's Just Another Dream, one of many great songs on this album.
Okay, my first listen here, and I feel like the energy is there, the performance is there. I don't know if I'm connecting with the song just yet, but it is only my first listen.
Right.
Can you shed any light on what this song is about?
You know, I think it's open to interpretation, but I would say it's just that, we go through life, and as things come up, you have another dream that comes up. Maybe when you're younger, you want to be an astronaut, or you want to be a football player, or you want to be a rock star, whatever. Maybe when you get older, maybe it's like, hey, I dream of some peace and contentment.
Yeah.
But, I think it is open to interpretation. The thing that struck me about this album, like I said, I've been living with it, I think, for about 5 or 6 days. My review just ran in my latest column, is that it just struck me how diverse the music was. Like the song before this is Total Americana. Yeah. The song after it is called, I believe, Tanzania. It sounds like an instrumental surf tune that Dick Dale or the Ventures would have done. Okay. And so it just, it sounds like the band, because they've been gone for a while, maybe they've been growing, in terms of where they wanted to do with their music, and they really went into it. And my understanding is they recorded this album, came together very, very quickly. It literally just almost came... manifested itself over the course of a few weeks or something in the studio. Very quick process.
Because this song feels like it's the band from the 90s. This song does, definitely. Is it the same band?
It is the same band, same 3 members.
Oh, really?
What I wanted to do with this song is I wanted to start with Just Another Dream, because I think that people will say, hey, that's a sound, that's a band that did The Way. Yeah, but very across the album, maybe there's 2 or 3 songs that sound in this signature sound. Yeah. But elsewhere, the band is totally different, and people would never see that as the same band. And the next song we will hear a little bit of is one of those songs that's very, like I said, it almost goes into Beatles territory or something like that. Okay. Very nice packaging. Unfortunately, doesn't have lyrics, so that we can maybe decipher some of it. Yeah, but it's really has a neat kind of feel to it.
I like the cover quite.
Yeah, very, very nice. And then, like I said, there you see the three guys, and it is Tony Scalzo, who I think is he sings, plays guitar. Miles Zuniga, I think, hopefully I pronounced his name right. I think he also plays guitar and sings. And then Joey Sheffield, I think, is a drummer, as I recall. But like I said, it was just great to hear that they were back, and I was very excited. And then the fact that they came back with a really good album, I think, was really good too. You know, why don't we play another song? And this is the last song on the album, and it's called, and don't even ask me what this one's about. I don't think I can tell you. But the title maybe has a lot of fodder over there. It's called Frenchie and the Punk.
Frenchie and the Punk.
So let's listen to a little bit of this one, and maybe the song will speak for itself.
That sounds like one of my old band names that I might have been in, a band I might have been in, Frenchie and the Punk.
Yeah, it's
cool.
a great title.
All right.
Stealing beer from the backstage. The rowdy is knocking on her door. And life is hard, but then again, life is easy too. I'll meet you.
Okay, so once again, first listen. I really, at first, the first half I wasn't quite connecting, but once it got to the second half, I was really connecting big time. I was really enjoying it. So I think I just need another listen to really kind of get into the vibe of it. But yeah, I was definitely more into this. I'm curious to know about these other songs that you say are quite musically and sonically different.
Oh, very different, yeah. And like I said, the song before this, I mean, you were asking, the song before this, Lillian Gish, is about the famous actress.
Yeah,
and she was the one, she's considered by many critics to be the best actress of the silent movie era, but her career, she was such a good actress, she made the transition into talkies, and I think she acted for another 20, 30 years or something like that.
I saw one of the last films she was ever in, which was Night of the Hunter. Made during the early 50s, I think, early to mid 50s. Where she was an elderly woman, but she was extremely good in that film. But yeah, she was a very good actress.
Yeah, so I mean, they've obviously put some thought in, you know, and they're not trying to, these are not all just simple love songs. But even the way you think about it was such a amazing song about this couple. They go out for a drive and then they just kind of never come back, or say, it's there was a very mystical quality, even though it was tuneful and it was a big radio smash. But there was always something more about Fastball than meets the eye, and I think. That grand tradition of the band is back, and hopefully we won't have to wait another 7 or 8 years to hear a follow-up.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder what were they doing the whole time.
Yeah, well, I know they've been. I know I did see them at the Coach House, but I here in Orange County, but I don't recall how long ago. But they were good live, and I'm hoping I'll get to see them again soon. My understanding is they are on tour, and they're even going to be back here in Southern California in June of 2017, so hopefully some people will check out this album, see them live.
Absolutely.
Now, what did you bring in today?
Okay, well, I've got an album here. It's the this came out back in January. I'm only getting around to it now, but this is the latest album by Father John Misty, entitled Pure Comedy. Father John Misty, real name Josh Tillman, formerly of the Fleet Foxes, and this is his third solo album. I'm holding up a vinyl copy here because I'm able to. Actually, I was. I'll tell you, this is an album. Talk about not connecting at first, like I was talking about earlier.
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure I was connecting with this when I first listened to this album. I was like, there's something going on here, but I'm not quite connecting with it. But there was something about it that just kept fascinating me, and I kept listening to it again and listening to it again and listening to it again. And I began to realize this is a very ambitious piece of work. This is very ambitious songwriting. This is very ambitious lyric writing. And you're not going to necessarily absorb it right on the first listen. And I think that also it's not for everybody. This album is not for everybody in many respects. I just felt myself being more and more intrigued with this album the more I listened to it. This album here deals with it, how shall I say this? It's a very biting, very sardonic piece of work, piece of satire in how it looks at life, culture, politics, media, social media, religion, all of it. And it looks at it in a very cynical, very biting way. And I'm going to say more about that in a moment, but first, let's check out, I think we'll just play some of the opening track, which is entitled Pure Comedy. Here we go.
Comedy
Now that's what I call pure comedy. Just wait until the part where they start to believe they're at the center of everything and some all-powerful being.
Now that's a title track, Pure Comedy, from Father John Misty's
Yes.
album, right? Yeah. So what I would say is that it's you know, the music very much of a '70s feel.
Yes.
But the lyrics are so complex. He's obviously addressing all kinds of things. So
Yeah.
I was trying to listen to it very carefully, and I think we listened to just about all the song. You know, there's a lot of things being, like you said, you know, I hear things about religion, and they're about man's inhumanity to other creatures, if not to man and stuff. There's so much going on there. I could see that you'd have to listen
just
to
this one track alone.
just this one song. So it's. I don't feel like I could really review it other than to say it's very ambitious. You know, but I do hear, like, with the kind of piano, it harkens back to some of Elton John's stuff, I think.
The production on this, yes, to me, as I listen to this album track by track, the production on this reminds me of the production that Gus, if I say his last name right, Dudgeon, who produced all of Elton's albums during the '70s, starting with his second album.
Okay.
Pretty much all the way through to the end of the '70s, produced all his albums, is the production that he put on Elton's albums. And yeah, it feels, even his vocals to me throughout with each song remind me of Elton in many respects. Just the way he inflects and hits notes. And but the difference is that we don't have a strong hook here.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have like a strong repeating chorus here.
No, we don't have.
We have this. Yeah. We have these long epic songs with
a lot of narrative.
A lot of narrative.
Yeah.
You have to sit with the lyrics while you listen to the album to fully appreciate it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, that's why I say I feel like I would have to do that before I could, really say too much. Yeah. But I will say it does conjure up those sounds of the '70s, and it's kind of nice because it's out of step with a lot of what's happening today. But that's good, But yeah, look forward to hearing it. I did see him at Coachella, but the listening environment was not ideal during his set. It was kind of by the main stage, and again, it was one of those things, like, you could tell that it was very ambitious. A lot of the fans were into it and stuff. But I think it's hard on the first listen to connect with all the songs, and it sounds like you've given the album the appropriate time that you need to.
It did take a lot. Yeah, I'll admit. At first, I was a little off-put. I wasn't 100% sure, but I kept being fascinated by the ambition. And so I kept saying, let's listen to it again. Let's listen to it again. Let's start to absorb this. And the more I absorbed it, the more I thought, this is one of the most ambitious albums I've heard in quite a while. And this is a tremendously brilliant album. Yes, it is a dark and cynical piece of work, but the author is also, while he's there looking at different aspects of society and kind of scolding, he also points the finger at himself a number of times and scolds himself for being no better, saying, and I'm no better in many respects. I'm doing the same thing that I'm criticizing all of you for. So he's not afraid to turn the camera on himself. I personally love this kind of cynicism. I can connect with it in many ways. I've either connected with it in some ways in my past, or I can connect with it because there are moments in my life when I feel that way, but it's not 100% of how I view the world. I tend to be more positive. I tend to be more of an optimist, but I can certainly relate to it, and that's where I connect with it. Now, earlier, of course, I'm going to pull this back out again. I pulled out the vinyl here because I decided, after a while, I got so impressed with this that I just decided I'm buying this on vinyl, and the vinyl packaging is tremendously impressive. I actually did do a separate video on my own channel where I went through this bit by bit. It is very impressive if you can buy this deluxe edition here, how it's all packaged. I'll just put a link to that video because it's I'm not going to get into that here. It's too much right now. At any rate, though, let's go ahead here and we will listen to another track here, and we'll see what you think.
Okay, sounds great.
Betting Taylor Swift every night inside the Oculus Rift. After Mr. and the Mrs. finish dinner and the dishes. And now the future's definition is so much higher than it was last year. It's like the images have all become real.
That song is called Total Entertainment Forever, and it's looking at kind of our obsession with nonstop entertainment. And the opening lyrics, betting Taylor Swift in the Oculus Rift talks about the coming of virtual realities where we'll all sleep with whomever we want through virtual reality.
Oh, wow.
After dinner, after we have dinner, after the Mr. and Mrs. have dinner, as he says in the lyrics.
Yeah,
there.
you don't know where everything's. I mean, it is incredible when you think about what all's possible and just all the at least even the things that are just coming down the pipeline as far as technology and about virtual reality and everything. But what I would say about this is it reinforces kind of what I said before. It taps into the 70s, but that's definitely not a bad thing. I love the way the horns. Yeah, musically it's
Those
great with the
horns
horns and
fantastic.
stuff. Yeah, and it is nice because he's obviously going in places lyrically like Elton John didn't do back at that time.
No.
But it taps into kind of some of the great things about that era as far as the sounds and about how things were arranged and everything.
Yeah.
I do like it musically very much.
Production-wise, if you love 70s Elton John, you're going to just love listening to the sound of this album. But lyrically, he's going into these long narratives, very complex lyrics, and he's talking about things that are about now.
Yeah.
And he's looking at it, once again, from a very cynical point of view.
Yeah, and I think that comes
a very
across
dark point of
very
view.
much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm very impressed by it, and I'll have to give him another listen. Like I said, the day I saw him at Coachella, I recall it was literally I was seeing one great artist on the main stage after another that I hadn't seen before, and it can be almost overwhelming. Like I was seeing him for the first time, and I was seeing the XX for the first time. I think I was seeing Glass Animals. I mean, it was literally one band after another. So sometimes it's hard to stick because you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I mean, here in this environment, I feel like I'm hearing him for the first time, and I want to check that out.
And like I said, there's a certain amount of overload you can go through on this album. There are some really long, epic songs on this album where he just goes. It's like he really like challenges you as a listener because he's really going on for like 7 or 8 minutes with a song, going on about whatever the topic is, and so it can be a bit daunting. These are not simple 2.5, 3 minute songs here. But I think that if you're willing to, it's not for everybody. I'll admit it's not for everybody. But if you're willing to stick with it, you might find yourself, I think, well rewarded once you begin to absorb it more, provided you can understand where he's coming from with this level of cynicism and darkness, which once again I can connect with it for the reasons I've already stated.
Right.
Either I have felt that way in the past, or at times I do feel that way, but I don't let it overwhelm my life. Is the difference. Here he's letting it overwhelm him for the sake of making this music, because he wants to deal with these subjects in the way that he's dealing with it. So there's a real sense of direction. But like I said, he's not afraid to turn the camera on himself as well.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for bringing that in.
Yeah.
Father John Misty, I mean, very ambitious, and it's great to kind of champion that for
and
sure.
It's good to hear that Fastball has come back.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah,
Absolutely.
two very good albums, and hopefully you'll let us know what you all thought.
Yeah.
If you've heard these artists or if you're going to go check them out, definitely let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. And till next time, my name's TJR, and you can check out my other videos at my channel, TJR The Original, and of course my music's at tjrmusic.com.
And my name's Robert Kinsler, and of course you can read my work at musicworthbuying.com and at ocregister.com is where you can find a lot of my concert reviews.
And everything else is at musicworthbuying.com.
Exactly, everything's there.
Yeah, all your written work. Cool.
Exactly.
Well, everybody, we'll see you later. Take care.
And
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and we'll see you later.
Bye.